our Christian life, our obedience, can never rise above our understanding. Our life of obedience, our transformation, the power with which we live, can never rise above the depth to which we know. So we simply have to ask ourselves, how is your knowledge of Christ? It's such a good exercise to just sit down with a friend or your fellowship group or in your home and just say, you got 2 minutes, tell me the gospel. To just sit down and go, you know what? Distinguish for me, and could you do this? I want you to be thinking, can you distinguish with some clarity the distinction between sanctification and justification? Because that's a soul-saving distinction. Do you know the relationship between God, between Christ's divine nature and his human nature? Can you distinguish the difference between other atonement theories and penal substitutionary atonement? Do you know what the covenant of grace even is? Do you understand what original sin is? Do you know any of those things? Can you define that? Do you know why a guy dying on a cross equals justification and salvation for all those who have faith in him? Do you know what sola fide means? Can you defend justification by faith alone from the text? These are not the rules and the markers and the questions and the interview things that we ask the elders. Friends, these are things that every member needs to be able to understand. The way you don't have them, you're not getting kicked out, you're not going to get shamed, but you ought to, like Paul, pray that God gives you that knowledge. Because you, the church, and this is what Paul is saying. He's not just saying, don't worry about learning, your apostle will come back. Don't worry about learning, I'll send you your pastor, he'll sort it all out. He knows that from the helm, from the pulpit, from the single leadership of the elders, you can only do so much. The job of the elders, the job of the preachers, the job of the apostles was to equip the people of God in the truth of God so that they can do the work of God, which includes pushing back against and fighting those beasts we call heretics. You are the body that needs to be the immune system against error and the response against heresy. Do you know? Do you have an ever-increasing knowledge of the truth as it is in Jesus? The will of God, all-encompassing theology. This also means, and I think this would have been in Paul's heart as he writes to the Colossians. It was in his heart as he wrote to the Corinthians in the second letter. It was in his heart as he wrote to the Galatians. Just desperate that Christians, while always learning, we're always going deeper into theology, but we need to kill and slaughter, put a bullet in the brain of your love of novelty. Novelty, and not so much just any particular doctrine, I think, is the downfall of many, many Christians today. You've heard the saying that a broken clock is right twice a day, right? It's the same with some theologians, some people, some Christians who are actually unsaved, outside of the knowledge of saving truth. They have not been transferred into Christ's kingdom, but they're Calvinist, all right? Or but they're Baptist, or but they believe this, or but they believe that. So they're right on some things, but only because from where they were coming from, that was the next new, impressive, puffing up thing to believe. So yeah, they stepped into truth for a portion of time, then they went too far. They weren't actually chasing truth as it is in Jesus. They had this desire for novelty, always something new, something weird, something that's never been believed before, something that puts me above and beyond the rest, something that will always have people asking me, wow, never heard that before. That's so cool. Church history is so boring compared to this. Kill that. Never come to church and hope that I tell you something that you've never heard before. Pray that you hear something from the Word that teaches, that engages, that it adds to your knowledge, yes, but we're going deeper. We're never going beyond Christ. We're not moving the fences, we're just digging deeper into the mind of Jesus Christ. So we must have a desire and a practical pursuit of the knowledge of Jesus Christ with all spiritual wisdom and understanding.